5 potential challenges that you might face or come across in your compliance journey. Number one, a lot of siloed functions that we're seeing in the marketplace inside of organizations. Compliance processes are often created in response to an event, right? A regulatory event, litigation event, criminal investigation. Really just depends on your environment. When responsibilities are walled off in this manner, few people have the means, the motivation, or the opportunity to share information across those silos. So they tended to gravitate to that information that they have and manage only that information. So always be on the lookout for those siloed events and cautious of how you're sharing information across those. The second thing is disconnected and disparate systems. This is common across the board. Every group has their requirements of how they manage risks, how they manage controls, how they manage compliance programs. So you're going to always see a lack of common themes, of common nomenclature across an organization. So compliance responsibilities sitting in those silos might be managed in a different way than you see it in another silo. So that's very key to keep in mind when you're working with your organization is how can you connect those systems? How can you keep those disparate systems communicating with each other across the board? You got to use across business lines, across functions, across locations. There's not an easy way to exchange that data, so you're going to have to be very cautious about how you're managing that data. Those disparate, disconnected systems lead to manual processes. Many of you probably live this every day. You're going to take those spreadsheets and those files that are being shared with you, whether it be a CSV file or whatever it might be, you're going to take that and you're going to have to import that and export that. You're going to have to clean the data, and you're going to have to create those reports that senior leadership or your guidance committees that are asking for specific information out of that data. And that makes it very difficult for you because this is a regulatory environment. It's changing all the time. It's changing in real time. So you have to manage that and you have to deal with that. So always keep in mind those manual processes are very challenging. The next thing that I've seen quite a bit, and it comes from that manual processes, is incomplete or non-existent metrics. This is very challenging. Cobbling information together from disparate systems. Often you have to do this by hand like you had to do earlier. And you have to turn that into a meaningful report. You've got leadership asking for different things. That makes it difficult, especially when they're all asking for different metrics. By the time you finally get that report done, it might be out of date. You might have already had to make several changes. You've already been asked to do several different edits. So that's always challenging. So you really want to keep in mind, how do you manage those metrics and how do you keep those metrics clean and crisp for an organization to manage and making them meaningful. And the last thing, limited to no visibility. This is a big thing when we start talking to companies about having an integrated view across your compliance activities. And there's a lot of them. And there's with these siloed environments, with disparate systems, with these manual processes, there is all kinds of barriers to limiting what you can and can't see. So you really got to be cautious and you got to pay attention to making sure that you're going after and getting the correct information, having the best possible visibility, and sharing that information with your leadership in your organization.